What if? One of the things that I've learned over the last 4 years here, 4 years and a little bit in trading is that a lot of people get discouraged because they get 10 trades in and they lose a trade. They get 5 trades in, they don't know how to trade, they don't understand all the moving parts. And one of the things that I've learned is one is I have a consistent process. You have to have a consistent, continuous process. So I'm not going to belabor that. I'm not going to pitch this. I'm going to share a big what if with you guys. For those of you that are watching this video, I'm going to share a what if with you. I'm going to throw in some realities. Again, this is all hypothetical right now, but it's depending on how you work. I'm going to throw in some hints here, some things like that. So one of my goals is to earn 5% a trade minimum. I'm very, very successful at that. A lot of times I'm way over 5%. Sometimes I'm a little bit over 5%, but for the majority of the time, I'm over 5%. That's why I'm using this. I also threw a 3% column in here and a 2% column. So what is this spreadsheet? Let's just say hypothetically, you're starting out with $500, but I don't have $500. In this spreadsheet, I'll just pause here. If you want a copy of this, I need your Gmail address, not any other email address, a Gmail address, and I'll send you a copy of the spreadsheet. All you got to do is come in here and change whatever your starting balance number is, and it'll adjust all the numbers all the way across the board. So let's go back to 500. End of the commercial interruption. If you want a copy of the spreadsheet, simply share your Gmail address, your Gmail address, your Gmail address, not any other address. If you don't have a Gmail address, go get one. Okay, so back to this. So balance, you start out with $500. Your goal on your trade is 25 bucks. If you do that 5 times or 5 days a week, you're at 25, but you're not going to, it doesn't matter. This is total number of trades. It's just pretend this is after 5 trades, whether you did 3 trades this week and 2 trades next week, you've earned 125 bucks. If you do this weekly, 5 days a week, you'd be at 6,500 a year. I just threw this column in here for giggles before. So what if I don't want to do 5%? Here's 3% example. 3%, you just have to earn 15 bucks on your first trade. If you do it 5 days a week, you're 75 bucks a week. 2% is 10%. 2% is $10, $50. So this is the spreadsheet. Running down this after 20 trades, you'd have a balance of about $1,263. Now the cool thing about this spreadsheet, you can change the balance in this column. So let's say you have negative and you can drop your actual trade dollars that you earned over here in this column if you just want to see it. So instead of 25, maybe you earned 27.50. You can adjust the balance over here by simply adding $27.50 to this value and change your current balance in your trading account to whatever it is. You don't need to change anything else. This is the only column you need to change. And as your balances change, you can change these based on whether or not you had a win or a loss. Now, I've set this up for about 240 trades, and you get to 240 trades starting out with $500 if you can maintain 5% on every trade. And let's say it takes you 265 trades to get there, to get to 240 wins. You're going to have a big stack of money. Again, no guarantees here. You got to show up every day. You got to learn how to trade. You got to, and we're going to talk about copying trades here in just a minute. All right. So, and that's for you, for those of you that don't really have time, but you understand the power of compounding your trading account. So let's go down and say you get to 20 trades. You're now at 20 trades. You've got a balance of about $1,263, give or take. Your 5% goal is $63 a trade. In a week, you're at $315 a yearly, so on and so forth. 40 trades, you're now at $3,300, right? If you trade for every 5 trades that you do, you're going to earn about $830, so 840 bucks, somewhere in that range. If you're trading 500, you can see the numbers across here. I'm not going to belabor this because I just want you to understand that there's going to be some upsies and downsies, and you're going to have some wins and some losses. But we'll just say at 40 wins, minus maybe some losses in there, you're going to be somewhere around this area. As you move through 60 trades in, right, you could possibly be somewhere in this area of about $2,200 a week, $115,000 a year. Same thing here. You're looking at weekly. And again, these balances are going to go up and down based on wins or losses. Getting down in here to the 80 trade area, right? 80 trades in, you're roughly about $5,900 a week. You're about $300,000 a year, so on and so forth, right? If you're at the 2% level, you're $2,300 a week, annual $122,000 a year. And again, you're earning about $472 a trade. The cool thing about what we learn in our trading academy is a consistent process to be able to do this, right? Some people feel, I don't want to sit in front of my computer all day, but you're sitting in front of your computer all day at your job, right? And to earn what? So I'll just leave that right there. But let's just say, for an example, you get your account to right around $33,208, and you've done this in about 4.5 months. You've done this in about 4.5 months. And you're able to earn about 5% every time you trade, give or take a little bit, but you're about $1,600 per trade. You're now at $431,000 annually, and so on and so forth. So 2%, 3%, 5%. What if you just kept the balance here? What if you didn't continue to grow it? Let's say you're at 33,000, give or take some change somewhere in here, $33,200, and you're earning roughly $8,000 a week or $8,000 every 5 trades. And let's say that you just take out half of that. You withdraw half of that and you leave half of it in the account to grow the account. You can do the math any kind of way you want. So anytime you get to 8,000, you pull 4,000 out. You get 8,000, you pull 4,000 out. You get 8,000, you pull 4,000 out. And of course, this number will gradually grow by 4,000. Some of that probably flew over some people's heads. But again, if you're pulling out 4,000 a week to live on, or 4,000 every 5 trades, however you want to look at that. Or in this case, you're at 3%, right? You're still at 4,000, 5,000 a week. So let's say you pull out 2,500 a week to live on. That's $75,000 a year that you're living on. I think it's 75,000, right? I don't know. Can't do the math. Anyway, yeah, you're over $100,000. Yeah, because it's 2,300 here. Yeah, you're over $100,000 doing that. So I'm just saying this, you don't need to grow your account to some astronomical huge money if you want to. You can. If you had $100,000 in there, that gives you a lot of leverage. You could literally earn $25,000 every 5 trading days. This doesn't take into account losses. So what does this look like? Right. So let's go over and take a look at a trade idea that was dropped today. Right. So we had a trade idea on US 30 that was dropped today. Right. It was a live trade. It was a live trade and a live trade idea this morning on US 30. And the trade said to get in at this entry point here, when this next candle goes bullish, right, which it did, it goes bullish, you need to enter here, and we're going to take our target profit up here to somewhere to this market structure. So that's the insies and the outies. So you come in here and you set the stop loss in your trading software, which we would show you how to do. You'd enter the trading, and I'm going to show that to you on the next screen here. You'd enter your stop loss. You're just going to hit the go button when you see that candle break and it starts to head north. You're going to hit that go button and you're entering, and the trade is moving up, 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 right? But Forrest, do I need to stay in the trade this long? Nope, because remember, our goal is 5%, and I'm going to show that to you here. So this is what the trade would have looked like this morning. And I've got a demo account set up here to show you the general idea on how this would work, right? So this is how the trade would have looked this morning. You would have got in at this area here. You would have entered at 48,951-ish, 0.3. Somewhere right in this area would have been your entry. Your target profit on this buy was 49,120. So right in this area up here. And of course, your stop loss was set at 48,789. Now you can see there's a dollar amount in here. The dollar amount on the stop, and again, this is on a $1,000 account, would have been $71. It would have been a 7% loss. Totally up to you how you want to adjust your stop loss and all that kind of. This is what it is. I'm just showing you an example. So you got in on this trade and you ran it up, but your goal is to get out at 5%, right? At 5% is right here. This is your 5% goal. Let me show you. Let me slide this down. Your 5% goal on $1,000 is roughly $50. So when this trade hits the 5%, you hit the close button. You come down here and there would be a little close button down here. You hit the little X, it closes it. You've now added 5% to your trading account. When you take a trade idea, it's totally, completely 1,000% up to you when you get out of the trade. You can stay into 5%, you can get out at 2.5%, you can get out at 7.5%, you can get out at 10%. You can try to stay in until the trade goes to where it goes to, right? However you want to do it. Maybe the trade gets to 7.5% and you move your stop loss up to break even. So if it does come back and it doesn't actually hit your target profit, at least you're at zero and you don't end up taking a total loss. Or maybe when your trade gets to 10%, you move your stop loss up to 5%. So if it does turn around again, you still got a 5% win, right? So there's a lot of ways to do this, and you simply move your stop loss. We'll teach you how to do all this stuff in this software. But again, if you don't have a lot of time to trade and you simply want to take a trade idea, enter it. Maybe you don't want to take the trade all the way to the trade idea stop loss. Maybe you just want to do 10%. So you come in here, you put in all the number, you put in the initial numbers, you say, okay, I'm gonna move this back and I just want to see if my goal I can get to 10%, right? So you scoot it down to the 10% level, right? You're all set up there. You come down here and you hit the buy button. It'll say buy, and it's off and run. The reason it says buy limit right now is because the price is currently past. And again, this is where price would have been in the morning. You would have never seen all of this other price because we'd be back here. Again, here's how it played out through the day. If you did enter right here, it would look something like this. It would have went up, boom, hit your target profit, came back down. If for some reason it didn't hit the target profit all the way, it came down here and stopped you out and you would have lost. That's why I said a lot of times it's important if you have the time, right? I'm a big fan of when I get a trade idea, I like to back it off just a little bit, just in case. That's just me. There's a good market structure right here where price actually came right up to and it just stopped and turned around. Again, it came back for another entry down here later in the day. It's running up again, so you could have got a second trade on this side. But this is just taking trade ideas. This is taking this idea, listening to the educator that says, hey, I'm going to get in here. You get in, you go into your trading software, you enter the numbers in here, and then you have to decide, are you going to leave the trade in all the way to the trade idea? Or are you just going to get out your 5% goal, whatever? Because as your volume goes up, right, as your balance goes up, this 5% is going to go up. So you don't necessarily have to stay in here. Again, going back to the spreadsheet. If we're at $1,000 trade, we're at $1,000, we're starting at $1,000, and I don't care what amount you start at, it doesn't matter to me. You're starting with $1,000 and you're rolling yourself up into these trades, and it's trade after trade after trade, 20 trades in, and out about $600 a week. That would change somebody's life. You could just leave the account balance at $2,500 with a goal of getting $600 a week. Or maybe you go to $6,700 with a goal of $1,600 a week, or $1,600 every 5 trades, so on and so forth. So you can adjust your balance how you want to, where you want to. But then my next trade, I got $50. Now I'm at $52. I need to earn $52 on my next trade. So I'm going to set this trade up, and I'm going to set my target profit, even though I've got a trade idea. The trade idea might be at $171. If you want to do that, that's completely up to you. However you want to do that. Maybe you go a little bit over. Maybe you set it at 7.5%. You take the 7.5% goal. That's a wrap. I wanted to share this with you. I know I went really, really fast, but if you decide you want to enroll to take these trade ideas, I will teach you and help you to set up your trade locker so you know how to use this bad boy. It's not that complicated. It's not hard. You can set up a live account. You can set up a demo account. I would recommend a demo account in the beginning just to practice with it so you know how to use all the software and use all the buttons so you understand how to take a trade idea when it's shared, the shared trade idea, when they share the numbers with you, you know how to come in here and you know how to enter whether it's a buy or a sell. You're going to enter the numbers in, right? You're going to be able to hit the buy or sell button down here, and the trade's going to take off. You're going to be able to adjust your target profit to where you want to go. We'll teach you how to do it. It doesn't take very long. It literally can teach you how to do this in no time at all, right? So very, very simple. If you're open to wanting to learn how to take trade ideas and you understand the concept of all I got to do is earn 5% on every single trade, regardless of what my balance is. 5% is 5%. Understand this, you guys, that if you've got $1,000 down here, 5% is still 5%. If you've got $10,000 down here, 5% is still 5%, right? It's not going to change. 5% is basically going to be the same move in every single category. It's just going to be this number. Instead of 5% of 1,000, it's 5% of 10,000. So this is $530 right here, right? It's the same move. It's the same move. It's the same move. It's 5%. 5% number of this number is always 5% to this level. So if you get in here and you've got $100,000 down here and you want to get 100,000, 5% of 100,000, you get out right here, right? You get out right here. It's 5%. It's 5%. It's the same 5% move. You just got a bigger number down here, right? So I'm going to leave that right there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. 314-498-7688.